plique.
Okay.
See how those are extended, very long, they're not attached on the top, they're open all the way down. And so what do we call these? The crypts of what? Crypts of lubricini? Crypts of lubricant, yeah. And if you stretch it, let me see here, hold on. Let's keep looking and see if it comes in anything. Let's go over this side over here. Go down, 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 down. So far, are we looking at anything? We don't see anything unusual. Anybody getting dizzy?
Yes.
Go up. Now, what are we missing on here that I'm trying to look for? There's no Peyer's patches. But can we see the different layers? Let's see if we get a, okay, here we go. So if we go right over here, and I come up this way a little bit, yes. So you can see all 4 layers. Can you see where they are?
Focus that a little more.
Let me go over here a little bit more. Well, no, you can't. So cirrhosis on the outside, which you can see, right there. And then you have the muscularis mucosa. And once you start going up, you have the submucosa, and then you have the mucosa. Now, let's look. Where's the one I was looking for here? It's not here. So let's see if we can find this one. Lots of glands in this one. But you'll see there's no Peyer's patches in here either. This is actually the jejunum, so we don't want to, they hardly ever ask you about that one. So let me go to the next one. All right.
Peyer's patches.
So let's put it in a place where we can actually see what we're looking at. So now we have similar, but they're going to show you on this one things like this. So as soon as you start seeing these, purple stain indicates what? Lymphatic tissue. These are Peyer's patches within it. So let's get all the way out here. And you can see that there's Peyer's patch, Peyer's patch, Peyer's patch, Peyer's patch up there, and then one over here as well. What's that?
You would ID it as ileum?
This is going to be the ileum. As soon as you see Peyer's patches, you know you're dealing with the ileum. And to be honest with you, if they ask you to specifically identify what section of the small intestine, this is the only one they're going to ask you about because it's the only one you can confirm because of Peyer's patches. So look for those purple stained areas, and you should be able to come up with Peyer's patches. And it will be the ileum. Let's go to, let's save that to last. Did we do colon yet?
No.
Now colon actually looks a little bit like the stomach. So what do we have in the colon? We have, again, it doesn't have the significant elongations like the plique. It doesn't have all these gastric pits coming down through there, but it does have its own section of intestinal crypt. So it's flat on the top with very large separated structures that take it down toward the muscularis mucosa, which is right there. So this is the colon. So we know stomach has lots of gastric pits, flat on the top. The small intestine has plique, look for Peyer's patches. The colon has flat on the top with large, infrequent depressions into the mucosa. Okay. Where'd it go? What is this? Oh, we'll do that next. All right, so let's take a look quickly at the kidneys. What should we look at for the kidneys?
Renal capsule?
Somebody knows
This is
their
a-
slides.
Literally a kidney that doesn't show you. What happened to my other kidney?
Look at that.
It should be in the left side.
This one does not show any glomulars, so we're gonna take that out, and put it over here. Whenever, and by the way, when you look at kidney, they're always gonna be showing you a glomularis somewhere. And most of the time, it's gonna be a little closer, like this.
It's very out of focus.
All right, so when you're looking at this, whenever you're seeing simple cuboidal in tubular forms, you need to look for the glomularis. So you're looking at a renal corpuscle, which means that you have
Renal corpuscle.
you have the outside layer, which is the Bowman's capsule.
Bowman's capsule.
You have the simple squamous on the inside, which is forming the parietal layer. Here's a glomularis on the inside, which forms the visceral layer. And then you need to look for the distal convoluted tubule. This one doesn't show real well, so we're going to go somewhere else. This is also the inner glomerular space. You see where the afferent and efferent vessels may come in? Not well, but right here and right there.
It's like a pancreatic islet.
So then the dis
Let me see if I can find something a little
DCT would have
different
to
here.
be on the.
Let's back off and find a better view. Here's one. That's not the one I was looking for. Where's the one I'm looking for? There we go. All right. So, do you see the macular dense anywhere in the DCT? Remember, it's going to be somewhere near the afferent arteriole.
Afferent, yeah.
And you can't think about this as the model. So here's your outside layer. You can see the white pretty much all the way around, except for up in here. Okay. What about this right here?
Afferent.
That's the afferent.
So the DCT
And
has to be
efferent goes
sort of
over
there.
there. And then right in between, right there, is the macular dense on the DCT. Not a great view of it, but it shows it. So all
How do
you-
you know that's macula? Just because there's a lot of them?
Because it's in between. It's in between
Okay.
the afferent and efferent. And the rest is consistent.
Okay.
Let me back off and see if we can look at another one real quick.
Print of an asset though, right?
I'm all over the place. Now, the only other thing they could ask you on this would be to go into a place like this and they could ask you about the tubes. They could, ID structure just by the tubes. They couldn't show, they may not even show you the glomulars. But you see, you have tubes and you have simple cuboidal. It only occurs within the kidney. All right.
20% of my battery remaining.
I'm almost done.
Make it worth it.
Let's look at one more. No, two more. This one and the last.
Oh, look at all of them.
Okay. This one, we should know automatically what it is just by looking at its structure. So if I'm over here and it looks like highways,
You should.
what is that going to be?
Pancreas, yeah, the pancreatic
These
ducts.
are ID organ. This is a pancreas, and what you're looking at are the pancreatic islets and the accessory. I'm going
Pancreas.
to go down here a little bit.
Pancreatic islets.
So you have right over here and here. You have you can see the actual structures coming out. So lots of interlacing between the actual islets. So the best thing for this is, they're probably not going to show you too much more than this, is if it looks like you're flying over a farmland at about 30,000 feet, then that's a pancreatic islet, and that's pancreas. And then the last one, which is probably a little confusing for some of you, so let's take a quick look at it. Let's go up one more. Usually they'll show you a little closer view so you can get some detail differences. Let's go over here.